When I came home sneezing, Benjamin was already waiting for me there. On the table in front of him were the photos that the paparazzi gave me that day. And he looked at me with an expression that asked me to give a detailed explanation.
Why didn't you give the photos to me?
My brain stunned for half a second, and I stammered to look for an excuse. I'm afraid.
You're afraid I will not hire you anymore after you give me this, right?
Benjamin interrupted me. He was so straightforward that I felt embarrassed. I smiled embarrassingly, thinking about how to make up for myself, but Benjamin didn't give me a chance to say anything.
You've been worrying too much. Chloe already knew what kind of person Zachary was. She just didn't want to break up with him.
Huh. Benjamin showed a smile uglier than crying.
I was lost to such a person. Do you think it's ridiculous?
I nodded and then shook my head. Ms. Kloss is ridiculous, not you. She was ignorant of judging people. Don't worry, nothing is impossible to a willing heart. Miss Kloss will be back to you sooner or later, as long as you persevere in putting in an effort for her.
How do you know that?
Just because you hired me, I definitely won't let you spend your money for nothing. I still had this professional ethic, I promise solemnly. Look, Ms. Kloss has opened up to you today and revealed the biggest wound in her heart to you. What does it mean? It means that she is biased toward you again. Don't worry, just listen to me. Ms. Kloss will be in the bag to you soon. Benjamin fixed his eyes on me with an emotion I couldn't understand. I wondered if he wanted to kiss me again at such a dark moment in his life. That would be too scum. After all, just a second before, he was still sad that Cleta didn't like him. Fortunately, Benjamin didn't kiss me in the end. He just smiled and seemed to be extremely tired.
Core with an employee like you. I have nothing to worry about.
The next day, Twitter Top Trends was occupied by photos of Benjamin sending Cleta home late at night. One of them was Benjamin opening the door for Cleta, and he happened to be looking eye to eye with Cleta. That was a normal gaze for me. However, the netizens said they could see from it that Benjamin's deep affection could not be hidden. Then they just concluded that Juliet was a joke. Of course, I couldn't disappoint the netizens, so I almost immediately booked a ticket to Harfush. I arranged for myself to go to Harfush for vacation, and at the same time, I also set Benjamin to stand Cleta up to pursue me. Only in this way can Cleta completely know that you, Benjamin, are no longer someone she can call at any time. If she wants you, she must take you so seriously. I said, while patting Benjamin on the shoulder before leaving. Benjamin was very obedient this time and immediately followed me to Harfush. I knew it should be the last time I showed up as Benjamin's girlfriend. So anyway, I was going to arrange something that I, as Juliet, really, really wanted to do with my boyfriend. In fact, it was just a matter of walking hand in hand on the street, shopping and eating. I even arranged for Benjamin, who had mysophobia, to eat grilled skewers with me at a dirty roadside stall. Although Benjamin was very disgusted, he still sat down. It had to be said that Benjamin as a boss didn't have absolutely no advantage at all. For example, the former secretary said he liked drinking ice water. There was a time I forgot to add ice to his water. I was afraid he would get angry, so I casually fooled him by telling him drinking warm water was good for his health, and he accepted it easily. For instance, he used to work all night regularly. I didn't want to stay up with him, so I advised him not to stay up late, which was not good for his health. As expected, he never works overtime beyond 12 a.m. since then. He obviously disliked grilled skewers now, but I wanted to eat, so I asked him to accompany me to eat it for once. Then he would sit down, so reluctantly. In fact, as a nobleman, he was sometimes easy to serve. Thinking of his advantages, I couldn't help but feel a little sad and reluctant to let him go. I would definitely think of him in the middle of some night after I left him completely. Thanks him for fulfilling my dream of having a perfect boyfriend. I would never have a better looking boyfriend than him in my life, or I would not have a boyfriend anymore. This night, we were both drunk. After getting drunk, Benjamin received a call from Closette again. I decided for him and declined the call. I told him, "Believe me, don't answer tonight. When you go back tomorrow, she will become your girlfriend completely." Moreover, I took the opportunity to ask Benjamin to pay me more money. I said I helped him accomplish his wish that he hadn't fulfilled for years in just 2 months. "You only give me $90,000. Don't you feel guilty? You have to give me at least $1.5 million.
Why do you want so much money?
Buy a mansion, retire live comfortably, eat and shop, and hold Bonaventure in my arms while counting money for the rest of my life." I counted on my fingers when speaking.
Okay.
When I woke up the next day, Bonaventure, Benjamin was no longer around. He probably went to look for Closette. I couldn't figure out whether he did promise to give me $1.5 million, or it was just a dream. I turned on my phone and was about to check the transfer, but it turned out that I found out I was on the trending topic again. This time, someone reported that my original name was Matilda LaRouche. At 12 years old, I had a crush on Benjamin when I was only in grade 7, but I was rejected. After being stimulated, I changed my name and went for plastic surgery, lurking beside Benjamin. It sounded like this person was a pervert, but the perverted plastic weirdo mentioned in the tweet was indeed me. I knew it was the fight back of Cleda. Anyway, it was time to say goodbye. My name is Matilda. I liked Benjamin for a long time. It had been 14 years, 7 months, and 21 days. That was right. I was pretty sure I had a crush on Benjamin 14 years, 7 months, and 21 days ago on the first day of September. We were only 12 years old then. We were both grade 7 students at Lester Gee Middle School, a famous century-old private school. I carried my new flask with hot water on the first day of school. My mother, Linda LaRouche, reminded me before I went out so that when I got to school, I could mix some cold water in before drinking. Or I could drink after the water had cooled down. I was going to do that. But after PE class, I poured the hot water out to cool it down. And at the same time, I found a super handsome boy walking into our class. Accidentally, I met his eyes and suddenly became very nervous. Again, accidentally, I casually picked up the cup and took a sip. Then I sprayed it all out. It was a mess. The boy had already sat in his seat, but he stood up again and handed me a bottle of mineral water.
Drink some cold water first, and remember to dilute hot water into warm water before drinking it next time.
I tried my best to exhale in an attempt to get rid of the feeling of being scalded in my mouth. At the same time, I took over the mineral water with a flushed face and drank it. That day, I knew his name, Benjamin. Afterward, I thought maybe in Benjamin's eyes, I was like a scalded puppy. Benjamin was a very cheerful and easygoing person. He had so many friends, but I dared not become friends with him. I only dared to crush on him secretly. I also wrote him a love letter, but I had no courage to give it to him. I was an ugly duckling. Maybe it wasn't wrong to fall in love with a swan, but if the swan knew I liked him, it must be my fault. I just felt that writing a love letter was a qualified secret love for a girl. However, this love letter was stuffed by an unknown into Benjamin's desk, and it was even read to all grades by Harvey Fenton, Benjamin's best friend. From then on, I became the laughingstock of the whole school. I was not good looking, not good at studying, and my family condition was not the best. How dared such a person like me have a vain attempt to like Benjamin, the top noble son? I really committed a heinous crime. The girls who may also like Benjamin, but dared not say it out, regarded me as an imaginary enemy. At first, they just laughed at me. Seeing that I was really weak and never resisted, they finally developed into cases of bullying. I didn't know if Benjamin knew I was bullied because of him. I also had imagined if only he could say something for me, even one sentence would be fine. On my 13th birthday, I received a note from Benjamin. He asked me to meet him at an amusement park in the suburbs at night. He said he would take me to sit on the Ferris wheel at night and light the lights of the Ferris wheel for me by my name.